guys, welcome to part 3 of Junk Your Stuff. I believe this will be the last part. I don't think I'm going to do any more after that as far as parts. I may do more videos that include the junk journal, but as far as the series, I guess you could call it, this is part 3 and it'll probably be the final one. Anyway, I finished another one and it's going in the pile. You didn't see a picture of that in the last video because it wasn't in there. And I have, as far as I can tell, 3 more to make, or 4 possibly, but 3 that I think I can see. And I'll be done making all the journals from the bags that I saved. The other thing I want to tell you before I get started is I told you guys back when I first started making these journals that these pockets that I had made in the pocket, it's called Pockets and Posies video, would be great in these journals. And since I said that, I went ahead and I made one like that, and I did not show you in the last video because it was only partially made. So it's finished, and I'll show you that real quick. Set this off to the side. I say that a lot. Set this off to the side. I'm gonna get that as a stamp. Okay, this is the one that has all the pockets in it that had been kind of a work in progress during the last video, part 2. It wasn't done, so I didn't show you. First, let me share with you the front. Take out the little tag thingies here. I made the book the same way. I covered it with paper the same way. I wasn't going to, but I did go ahead and do it that way. And then I just used washi tape and put washi tape down in all different directions, different colors. And then I took a package of stuff I wanted to use up, and I put a piece of it on here, and these stamps, and there's more inside, I think, on the inside page. And then I just did a rub-on here, and this rub-on is crusty, and it's probably not going to last, and it looks kind of distressed, which is fine. That's why when I say your stuff doesn't really last, is because this is really old, and so it took a long time for me to get it rubbed off as much as I did. So I'm surprised I got as much off as I did, but it's kind of crusty, but I like that. I like the distressed look, so it's not bothering me a bit. Then I added a flower. These two came from the same set. This one was separate and this one was separate, and I just added a brad in the middle, and I just stuck it on there. And this is a little word from some packaging that I'm using up, and on the, let's see, the tag, this is packaging that I was going to throw away, covered with some paper that was printed out from something I did years ago, a journal, and I won't go get that. And I just stuck a flower and stuck a word on it. And then this is just a square piece of double-sided paper that I put washi tape on, but I'm using washi tape. Have you noticed? I've used a lot of washi tape. I'm kind of on a washi tape using mission too. Everything in my room I'm on a mission to use, so there's going to be videos about using all my washi tape, using my papers, using my stickers, using my rub-ons. I'm going to bore you guys to tears with my Use Your Stuff videos. Anyway, this is just a square piece of paper with one of the flowers that I put together from all the flower cutouts that I had in a box. They don't go together, I just stuck them together, and it works. It works. They're not even supposed to be. The colors and everything, I didn't cut them out together, but it really looks cute, and a couple leaves in the background here. So that sticks there. And then on the back, same thing, paper, washi tape. Here's more of those stickers. This one here and this one here. Okay, and these are also packaging. In fact, this was one piece of packaging. It went like that, and flowers came on it, and I cut it across the top here, curved, so it would stay in line with the curves here, and I squared off the bottom of this one, and I just made 2 tags. So this has got more of the sticker on it. This is another piece of paper I want to use up. These are some of the words and phrases I'm using up, and I left the back bare so you could see that it was packaging. So that's that. The other thing that's different about this, it doesn't have a bow of jute around the front. I didn't do it because there's so much going on here, but I may go ahead. I may add it later. I'm not sure yet, but for now it doesn't have one. So you just can open it up. And there's nothing in the pockets. I did not put anything in the front or back pocket of mine. This is mine yet. So there's nothing in this little one here either, but there's room for that. And then you open it, it's got the front page which has the paper, and then one of those paper pads that I told you about that I got, that I was using in the books, The 2 pieces of paper I used in this book are the last 2 from the pad. So the pad's gone, it's been thrown away. Another rub-on that didn't rub on very well, but still that distress looks fine with me. This is the pocket, the first pocket, and I made more pockets. So these are not the same ones as the flowery ones that I've done with the stitching, because these were rather thick inside the book. The flowers just added too much with the buttons. So I made some more pockets, and I hadn't told you about that yet. And I didn't share it with you in a video because I figured you guys could do this without me showing you, but it's made from, it's the same design, same folds, but I glued everything. And after I glued it, I washi taped the edges, washi tape at the top. So this is the pocket here. And the same as this one has a piece up here with stitching in the pocket. This has no stitching. I like the stitching though. I think these are my favorite. I like these better, but for this book, it was okay not to have stitching. So anyway, there's your pocket, and washi tape here and on the sides, and then different pieces on the front, and a word. And this is part of the paper, so I did not add this on here. And in each pocket, I stuck a black and white tag that has a word on it that was a rub-on, and a tag that has double-sided paper. It's not as heavy as I would have liked it to be, and I should have doubled up on it, but I didn't. Anyway, it's just plain. I can add to it, I can journal on it, whatever I want to do. And I just stuck it in there for color for now. And I like the ribbons and stuff on the end, so. Okay, the next one, I made the pockets match, and I started to do it in mismatch form, but I changed my mind at the last minute. I don't know why. It's just the way it worked out. So these are green, and they've got washi tape on them, just as like the other ones. And these are rub-on. No, these are stickers. These white things here are stickers, and then just washi tape here. I can go back later and add something here if I want to. I want it to be flat though, because like on these, I added a flower, which broke up all the paper and everything, and I'd kind of like something here that's flat. I might put a flower here. I don't know. This book's a work in progress. It's not really done, but it's done. Saying, you know how that goes. This pocket's similar but different washi tape, and again the tags, and I just put a brad in each hole at the top of the colored tags, and then I used ribbons and sari ribbon, and the pages of this journal have fabric tabs like my other one that you're going to see in a minute. And then this is the next pocket and the tags that go in it. And then this one and the tags. And this one. This one's a little different because I used a piece of paper that I was getting rid of. Comes in a little kit. It's got several of these little note cards, and I just used one on the envelope. Oh, and this tape here, this is not washi tape. It's homemade washi tape. It's masking tape, and I made this when I was doing a project. I had the tape down so that I could then use it for tape later, and I've had it for a year and didn't use it. It was stuck on wax paper, and it actually glued itself to it. It was very hard to get off, but I finally used it. I used all of it up in this book on a couple of these pockets. So this is my tape. I made this. And there's a piece of it here. And this pocket here has more of it. There's a piece here and a piece here. And then there's some rub-ons on these here and here. Very simple, very basic. Oh, and this is antique trim, lace trim, like for hemming a skirt or something like that. Back years ago, when we hemmed our skirts, we used lace or seam binding or things like that. And I've had this for a long time. I got it in an antique store, and I just haven't used it, and I'm used it in this book. Just once, just a little piece of it. It's trash. And this is the last pocket. This is another one of those pieces of paper you know, if you remember, each piece of paper that's 12 by 12 makes 2 pockets. So this pocket matches the front pocket. And it already had a design on here. I just added a piece of washi tape here and on the edges. And then back cover is the paper and the journal page and the rub-on. Okay, so that is that. So I just thought I'd share that with you. This is a great way to use your pockets. You could not do what I did and put journaling spots in your pockets. You could take these out and you could fill it with something else. You could make this as a giveaway to someone, like a Happy Mail or something, and fill this with ephemera or just odd and end things, stickers, whatever you want to put in here. Or you could make this an affirmation journal where you write good notes, positive thinking, things like that. Stick it in here, give it to somebody, keep it for yourself. And if nothing else, it could be just a good conversation starter. I mean, you sit this out on a table or have it in your art room somewhere stuck on a shelf and somebody sees this, and if I saw this, I'd be going right for it. I'd be like, what the heck is that? I want to see this, because you just want to touch it, you know? And let me share something with you. And a lot of you know this, but some of you may be new and aren't thinking this way. It's all about perspective. It's all about how you think about things. This doesn't have to have a meaning at all. It doesn't have to mean a single stinking thing. It doesn't have to do anything but sit and look pretty, just like some people do. They sit and look pretty. I don't have to have any reason to have this, or I don't even have to use it. It just is. That's all it is. It's just, it is. That's all. So don't feel guilty for having something that you don't do anything with. It's just pretty. Enjoy it. Look at it. It's like a flower in your house, except it won't die. You know, it's like you went outside in your garden and pulled a bunch of flowers in and put them in a vase and set them there. Well, they're not doing anything but sitting there looking pretty for you to enjoy. Same thing for this. Sit it up on your shelf or lay it somewhere and just let it be pretty, and it'll never die on you. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because that's important. It took me a little while to get that into my head. When I first started, I'm like, I have to have a purpose for this or it's kind of a waste of my time. Well, no, it's not. I waste a lot of frickin' time now, let me tell you, because some of the stuff I do has no purpose. It just is. So enjoy it and have fun and just relax and chill. And what is that from? I don't even know what that's from. Did that come out of something? You know what? Yeah, it came out of here. Okay, we gotta fix that. The other thing I was gonna tell you was I need to probably glue or staple this in because it's gonna come out. I'll probably glue it and do it later. The other thing is the binding for this is done the same way. The center has the ribbon, the yellow ribbon. Right here is the original binding, and it came through and it's got short tails on it. So I just was going to leave it loose. And I didn't really like it loose by itself, and I didn't like that little stubby bow. So I took a piece of sari ribbon and I wrapped it inside my book, and it is sitting right here. I just wrapped it in on the inside center of the book on the outside and tied a knot. There's no bow for that either because the tails aren't that long, and also I didn't want a bow of sari ribbon because it just didn't lay the way I wanted it to. So then I went and I took some fibers and I did the same thing. I laid the center in my book, came around the outside, pulled it up, tied a knot a couple times, and then I tied a bow. You can't tell it's a bow because it's kind of limp there, but it's in a bow. So it just added some prettiness to it. Okay, so that's the other thing I'm going to share. Oh, and I was going to show you what the pockets look like. I still haven't finished these. I've used more of that paper pad, and I really enjoy making these pockets. So I've got several here ready to go, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these, but I'll do something. Maybe I'll keep doing the washi tape. I don't know. They're faster. Doing it with the glue and washi tape, it's much faster. So you don't have to go with the sewing machine and all that stuff, but I still like the other ones better. Anyway, this is what one finished looks like, and I just glued it down. Okay. So let's put this aside. The thing I wanted to talk to you about today for the part 3 part of this video is my journal. I told you in the last video, it's a coaster, I made that years ago, came over with the book. I told you in part 2 that I was going to sit down in my book and do a page so that you could see how I work in my journal, how I worked on the first pages that I did, the ideas that I have for doing stuff in my book, so that you can have an idea what to do in your book if you make one or if you win one. So in the video, let's see, I think the first and the second one, I probably showed you these pages. And I don't have a before picture to show you, but it started off with the paper on the background, just like all the others. And this was 3 green hearts. They were solid green. I think it's magazines cut into hearts. Magazine paper cut into hearts, and or a flyer, and I sprayed them all green because, or I painted them all green because I was going to use them for leaves, and I never did. Well, they just don't look good as a green heart. So anyway, I glued them in, and then I came back and I worked in the book and I made this page. And this one here, this one, I just took some gesso and brought the gesso in. I did some writing in white, I did some writing in black, I put a fragile sticker, and this heart is a piece of paper that I had from a package that I got, and I just added some paint colors and a flower. And I like the page so much better. So I thought I'd look through my book here today and see what is in here that I could work on. And there is a page that I started that I haven't finished that I thought maybe I'd finish with you, like this one here. I might finish this one today, and I might do another one. Okay, I think what I want to do is finish these pages. The first thing I want to do is take my gesso, and I'm just going to start gessoing in the background a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and go around my flowers, and I don't know if you're in close enough to bring you right there. And it's okay if you get on the flower. It's not a big deal. Don't stress about what you're doing. This is supposed to be a have fun, no stress type situation here. A project that doesn't bring any kind of unhappiness to your life. There's enough in the world going on that can cause you grief. You don't need to bring grief into your art room. And you can see that I'm just scrubbing this in. I'm not painting nice and neat and in any kind of fashion that makes sense. I'm just scribbling it in, filling it in. Okay. That's probably good enough. Okay, the next thing I've got is apple barrel, and it's called Antique White. And it is just so that I can put some color in the background other than the white. And I'm going to bring in some more color in a minute. And I might mix the two. Let's see. I have folk art sunflower also. I'm going to do the same thing. Just go around all the stuff that's already on the page, the little flower circles, the leaves that I pushed in with my fingers back when I first started working in my book. I'm going to grab a little bit of that yellow and work with it with the Antique White so it blends in. I don't want it all yellow and I don't want it all white. How about a Bailey antic? Except this time it's kind of my fault. I eat a banana with peanut butter sometimes for breakfast, and I always save her a little bite of banana, a little piece of peanut butter on the plate, because she likes it too. And I take a multivitamin in the morning that's little and brown, so it looks kind of like peanut butter, and while I was eating my banana, it must have slid to the center of the plate. Well, when I was through and I gave her her portion, I didn't realize I'd left the vitamin on the plate. So Bailey took my multivitamin. She was really healthy that day. She's fine, but now I'm much more careful about where I put my vitamin. It reminds me when she took the garlic pills, though. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is switch over to a couple of colors. This is Deco Art, and it's Pure Pumpkin, and the other one is one of my favorites, Razzleberry by Americana. And I'm going to finger paint, just play with the paint with my fingers now. And I'm going to start on this page here. No, let's do this page. Just going to rub the paint in with my finger. I'm going to put a little on first in the center there. Put some over here on this one. And I think I need some white handy. Okay, then I'm just going to follow the shape of the flower. One of the reasons I like to paint with my fingers is it forces me out of my desire to try to make everything perfect and in line. So I really love finger painting. I've got Sea Breeze and Spa Blue Americana paints here. Okay, I'm not sure if I want to use my finger because the flower is a different shape. Maybe I'll use this long brush here. Bailey is snoring. And I'm not trying to paint it exact. I'm just following the shape of the flower. Her snore sounded more like a pig snort. And it won't be the exact shape of the die cut. It's the general shape. I like that orange in the center, so I'm not going to cover the orange. I'm not going to put blue in there like I intended. So I'll just put a little bit on the outside. I think it's hard to see the Spa Blue color, but that's what I'm putting on now. That just sit for a second, and let's go to this other page here. And I'm going to work on it upside down, I think, so I don't get paint on my shirt because I'm not wearing my apron. I know, I say it all the time. It's true, I never put it on. I'm going to continue using the same colors on this page, and I'm going to go back to using my finger because this is just circles. And I'm going to go to these colors here that I just got through using, the Sea Breeze and the Spa Blue. As we progress through this video, you're going to see that I play with these flowers in particular an awful lot. I have a hard time getting them to look the way I want them to look, but in the end, I'm finally happy. I think I'll bring in the orange. Yuck. I don't like it. Just a little bit. May cover it up. Not sure. And I'm going to put some blue up here. Just because I want to. No rhyme or reason. Just because I want to. I just added some white on top of that orange. And I think I want some raspberry added in too. Just a crazy combo of colors to play with. just because. Let's turn this back around. I'm going to work on my stems a little bit. Okay, the colors I've got now are Folk Art. This is Raw Umber. This is old. Hopefully it'll work. This is Deco Art Wild Green, and this is Apple Barrel Kiwi. Okay, let's open the Raw Umber. It's very thick. Let's see if I can get any on this brush. This is a liner brush. I'm just going to draw my stems in. If you have a gunky paint like this Raw Umber I'm using, there are acrylic mediums you can add to it to thin it down that will still keep the color intact. Water helps thin it down to a more watercolor effect. I'm just using water for this project. Okay, let's try bringing in this green here. Oh, it's gummy too, see? I deleted out the part where I was playing with the paint, but I let it wrap around my finger and pulled it up as far as it would go. It was fun. Same thing with the kiwi, just kind of going along the line. This is all self-explanatory and not enough time to talk. Okay, I'm going to work on yellow now. I've got Deco Art Daffodil Yellow, and I'm just going to try and throw this in my garbage can from across the room. Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit out of my palette over here. And it's just in a little palette. Just a little dab there. And I'm just going to put in some of the leaves with this yellow to start off. Thank goodness for mixed media art. It's the one area of my life where I feel like I can just be free and let go and not have to struggle to be perfect. I'm not a perfectionist at all, but if I allowed myself to be, I could be one. My nature is one that wants to do things right. Going back into the Spa Blue a little bit. And thankfully, in mixed media, in my world, everything is okay. Everything is right. Nothing is wrong. So I'm just going to play around with the leaves a little bit more with the greens. I will probably start off with the what's it called? Wild green. I'll start off with that. And I'll throw some kiwi in there too.
My mother's mother was a perfectionist, and I believe my mother's mother's mother was a perfectionist. My mother was not a perfectionist in anything other than her sewing. In her sewing, everything had to be perfect, but in the rest of her life, it was not. I wonder what they would think about mixed media art. I think that they would be shocked.
All right, let's let that dry for a minute. I want to use the raw umber again. What I'm going to do is take some of this raw umber out of the lid into a wet brush. Get it kind of watered down.
Having said that, I think that my mom would have embraced mixed media with open arms and heart. I wish she did not pass away before I found it.
And I'm going to find a dark green. And right off the bat, I don't see what, yeah, I do. This is Holiday Green. I'm going to take that liner brush if I can find it again. I put it away already. There it is. I'm just going to flick some tall grass up.
I'm just going to draw some lines straight up and kind of curved occasionally. And it might wind up in the leaves, it might wind up in the flower. Doesn't matter. It's all good.
Okay, and I'm going to take some of the lighter green, the wild green. I think I'm going to do a little bit with wild green. No, you know what? I want to use the Sea Breeze. I'm going to go on a paint using mission too one day in the future.
Oh yes, I have plans for those bottles of paint that are almost empty, that are taking up space in my cart. Their days are numbered.
I don't like these flowers over here. I want to change them. So I've got some of the raspberry and the orange and white and yellow left in my palette over here. So I'm just going to use the paint that's in the palette and see if I like them when I'm done. And if not, we will get more paint out of it and work on them.
I told you I wasn't happy with those flowers and I was going to keep playing with them, so here we go.
Okay, let's see how we feel about that for a second. And while we're waiting on that, I'm going to get out some more of the blue. I'm going to change blues. Let's get out Sailing Sky. And I'm going to mix it with a little bit of white, which is still in my palette over here.
I just wanted to add a little blue into the sky area on both pages while I contemplated what to do with those little circle flowers. I just wasn't happy with them. I keep playing with them until I am, though.
I want more orange in my flower.
What is it with me and this orange?
And then I want to bring in something else. I just don't know what. Possibly. No, that won't work. Maybe find another orange. Maybe this orange, bright orange. Let's try it. I don't want it to be exactly like the other flowers, but I don't want to be too different either. That's not different enough. The colors are too close. Okay, let's try a purple. This is Deco Art African Violet. This is still wet. Probably not a wise idea, but we're gonna do it anyway. Okay, I like that better. And then I want a brighter yellow. Where's a bright yellow? Here's one. All right, let's let that dry for a minute and then we'll come back and work on it some more. Okay, I added a few things while I was drying. I added a little orange to the center here where I left the orange that was originally there. I wanted to bring out more, so I just added a little bit there. And I dabbled around with these again and I don't like what I did, so I'm going to go in with more purple. I'm probably going to take the same color, African Violet, and swirl it around, and I'm going to take the, what is this? This is Ceramcoat Pansy. All right, let's try the lighter pansy color first.
I think we're going to get close now to finally liking these flowers. It took a while.
Okay, I like that better, but I still, something's just not right. I think we need some razzleberry. Yeah. Okay. Now we need to leave that alone for a few minutes, but while that's drying, what I want to do next is I'm going to take my black watercolor pencil. It'll work the same as a Stabilo. And I'm just going to go around my shapes a little bit. Not real heavy-handed, just a little bit. And define them a little bit more. And then when I get through, I'm going to bring in some clear gesso and seal it at the same time as I'm spreading the color around a little bit. You'll see in a second. And I'm not drawing definitive lines. It's just a very sketchy, loose line that doesn't even connect everywhere because I don't want it to.
I love adding Stabilo or black watercolor.
And let's work on this page first. Get my clear gesso. Actually, I'll use matte medium. It'll do the same thing. This is just Liquitex matte medium, fluid medium.
Then I just take a brush and I go over the lines where I sketched with the watercolor pencil. It activates it and seals it at the same time. I really like adding this to things I've put on a journal page because it really makes the images pop out. Makes it prettier.
Okay, see the difference? I love that. Now we're going to do the other side, but I got to dry it some, so let me dry it. We'll do the other side. So I wanted to show you the paint book that I've been throwing paint in for the last, I don't know, year and a half. It's full, but I still add into it, and eventually I'll go back and do journal pages. I've done one in here, and then there's another one up front here somewhere, right there. But there's still paint on the palette here, and we don't want to leave it in there because we don't want to waste it, and we want to be able to use it in our journal.
I really love this paint book, and I'm looking forward to making journal pages in it. I wanted to tell you guys that as I was adding paint in here, at the end, it looked like it got a little smudgy, smeary, like the colors blended too much. But when it came back the next day and it was dry, it looked really pretty. So I'm hoping when I do this page, I can preserve those flowers because I really like how they looked after they dried.
And then we'll let that dry, and one day it'll be a journal page. So I've got my matte medium, fluid matte medium from Liquitex sitting here, and I've got these little words and stuff that I've been using up in these junk journals, and so I figured I might as well keep using them, so I'm going to use some more. And we're just going to seal them down with the matte medium. Let's put the word journal here.
You can tell that I've already done the second page with my watercolor pencil. I did it off camera, not on purpose, but I forgot to turn the camera back on. Actually, I got it twisted. I had the camera off when I thought it was on and on when I thought it was off. I do that sometimes.
I do want the color a little bit muted. I don't want it pure white, so I am taking a little bit of this raw umber, and I'm going to put a little dab on my brush and try not to mess this up too bad. There. There. Okay, that's good enough. And now we have to let it dry again. And I'll be back. Okay, let's hope this is dry enough. I'm going to take my white gel pen. I'm just going to do a little journaling. It's not coming out dark enough. So we're going to switch over to the Sharpie, the white Sharpie. This is the water-based one.
I love writing words on my journal pages in such a sketchy form you can't read them. It's like writing in code. It's so much fun.
Then I'm going to take the black Posca pen.
Same thing, just this time I'm using the black Posca pen. And writing really sketchy, you can't read the words, and that's what I want. I don't want people to read the words.
Okay, that's it. We are done. I'm going to sign it. Not that I need to. The whole book is mine, and the whole book is signed, but you know, it is something I created in the book, so we'll just put 2017. Okay, that's a way that you can alter your journal from a page that looks like that. You can turn it into that or that or that or that. Very easy, very simple. All right, for now, I'm going to go and be back tomorrow. See you guys.
Let's do one more journal page.
It is the next day. I thought I would go ahead today since it's earlier in the day and I'm not as tired, and I would do another page in my book. I really love these. I love these after they've dried and the way they look. Let me show you a close-up real quick. Totally changed the look of the book, the page. It's really cute. And all I did was use the shapes on the page. Let's go with this spread here. First thing I want to do, I believe, is start off with covering my background. And I think I'll start off with a blue, and then I'll tone it down with some white, I think. So I've got Blue Heaven here by Delta Ceramcoat, and it is an old paint. So let's get started on this page here.
Because I've already done a page in my journal for you on this particular video, I'm going to try to speed forward in a lot of parts on this because it's basically the same thing. Taking the shapes on your page and deciding if you want to keep them, covering them, whatever. In this case, I keep my shapes and I just start covering things. I am using a lot of blue on the background. I turn out not to like it so much, so I add more white, and you'll see that in a second. But I'm just going along the edges of my images and adding my blue paint down.
Okay, you can see it's not real neat. The background is just kind of smushed in there. And now I'm going to take my white gesso and I'm going to do the same thing. I didn't clean my brush, so let's do this again.
So that's code for, I don't think this blue's great. It's too much blue. Let's put some white in and tone it down. I just didn't say that in the video, but that's what I'm thinking most likely, if I remember correctly. So I'm just going to put some white down and tone the blue down a little bit, and I think I'm a glutton for punishment. I bring some blue back in later. It's just a juggling act. That's all it is.
What I want to do now is I want to take my gesso, and without any blue being in my brush, I'm going to go over the die cuts. And I want a very light coat. In fact, I want something to wipe it up with, just in case, because I don't want a real dark coat. We'll see. Let's just try. And if I hate it, I can cover the whole dang page. Y'all know, I've said it before. You don't have to stay locked. Don't stay trapped. Don't stay a slave to a page. Don't stay locked up and what do you call it? Paralyzed. Don't stay paralyzed to a page. Let yourself have permission. If you don't like something, cover it up. And before you give in though, and before you just give up, try a few things. Keep trying until you figure out something you like. Or if you finally just say, I've had enough, just give yourself permission to go ahead and cover it. Don't be in bondage to a piece of paper. There's enough stuff in life that tries to tie us down, you know, that we have to deal with. Don't let a piece of paper be one of those things. And I'm guilty. I'm guilty of the same thing, so I'm not preaching to you guys without having pointed the finger at myself. Still, it depends on the day. Today, I'm a don't tie me down, don't hold me down, don't box me in, baby, kind of mood. So, honestly, you know, I'm perfectly fine with covering this whole page if I wanted to. That's just the kind of mood I'm in. But on another day, I might be like, you know, all worried about it. I ain't worried today. Not worried today at all. All right, this one, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to give the flower a little shape with the white gesso.
So, like I said, I'm going around the shapes with my white gesso. And then you're going to see me bring in either white gesso or white paint. I think it's gesso that's left on my palette on top of the blue. Because you know what I'm thinking? It's still too blue. Way too blue. I don't know what I was thinking, but I think even later on I say that.
Okay, I looked through my paint and I'm looking for colors that are a little bit muted. I don't want really bright colors like I did on these other pages here. Because of this, it being a little bit more vintage muted looking, I may not succeed in my direction, but I may come up with something I didn't expect that I love, so I'm going to go for it anyway. So I went through and I pulled out some muted colors, and by muted I mean colors that are not real bright. This is Apple Barrel, and it is called Victorian Green. This is Delta Ceramcoat, and it is Lime Sorbet. I pulled out a couple of yellows. This is Folk Art, and it is Sunflower. And this is Apple Barrel Antique Gold. And this is Americana Melon. And this is Delta Ceramcoat. It's kind of rubbed off. I think it's Rose Pink or Rosa Pink. Rosa Pink. Anyway, that's what we're going to be using on this right here. And I'm not done with this, I don't think. And I don't know if I'm done with this. I may wind up covering everything. I just don't know. But let's get started and see where we wind up.
While I'm painting over these images, I'll tell you a little story about thinking outside of the box. About a year ago, I had mentioned it in a video, and I said I would tell you the story, but to remind me about it. But I forgot, and no one reminded me until about a year later. Laura, thank you for reminding me about this. My niece, who is 13 now, was 4 years old at the time, barely, and we had been discussing thinking outside of the box. She used to come work in my art room with me and do art journal pages and things like that. So I was trying to tell her that she didn't have to color in the lines, didn't have to be perfect, didn't have to use certain colors together. She could just be free and let loose. So we decided that we were going to make a doll.
Okay, as I look at this, this is becoming more and more and more blue, and I really, really don't want it blue. So I'm going to bring my antique white over, and I'm going to start putting some of that down and see if I like it better.
She wanted to learn how to sew. So I took her to Hobby Lobby and we were going to pick out some fabrics for this doll. Well, evidently she had been remembering and thinking about our talk about thinking outside of the box. And there was an older lady there with another older lady. They came to the counter at the same time we were getting our fabric cut. So out of the blue, Emma turns to this lady and says, "Do you think outside of the box?" And my mouth fell open. I was floored. I didn't even know she was paying attention to what I was saying. But the lady did talk to her about it and said yes, she did think outside the box. And I told the lady the story about Emma and I doing art journals together and all that stuff. Well, it turns out these two ladies were aunt and niece as well. So Emma found that very fun and interesting.
Not sure I like the sponge look. I like the color, but I'm not sure I like the sponge look.
So evidently what I was saying to Emma about thinking outside the box stuck with her. Now whether that's good or bad, I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to leave this alone for a while. That's another thing. When you get to a point where you're kind of wondering, do I like it, do I not? Leave it alone for a while, go do something else, and then come back to it. What I'm seeing here, this heart, can you see this heart right here? I think that's going to be the leaves for the flowers. So I want to bring a stem down here.
So anyway, Emma's now 13, like I said, and we don't get to art together as much, but school is out now, and I'm hoping that she will get to come and spend some time with me this summer and do some artwork. And I'm going to ask her about the Think Out of the Box story. I bet she remembers it. So, going back to the journal page, I don't know if you saw me dig through a bag. I pulled out a little tiny sponge shape that I had cut out, I don't know, a year ago or so, and I was stamping little spongy images of raw umber over the page, and I didn't like it. And then you saw me scrubbing on the page. I took the same sponge and I just rubbed the spongy effect off the page. I didn't like it for this journal, so I took it off and just rubbed the paint in and smeared it around. I liked it much better. So now I'm just adding different lines and stuff around my shapes, and you can basically see what I'm doing. It's kind of self-explanatory.
I know I said this was too blue, but I just can't help myself. I'm going to bring my spa blue to the table because I really like spa blue and I really want to put some spa blue on here.
I told you I was a glutton for punishment. I got all the blue pushed back and now I'm going to bring it back in. But spa blue is different. It's like the perfect blue, so you can't go wrong with spa blue. I actually like it, so I'm not sorry I did it.
I hear Bailey coming up the stairs. There you are. Hi, Bailey. Hi, babe. It's not time for lunch. Don't even think about it.
She's thinking about it.
I'm going to leave some of this in here. I like some of it. I think I'll leave all this right here. I actually like this right here.
Now what you see me doing is taking the espresso bean color and gesso and mixing them together and wiping them on my page and pushing the page back a little bit more. I am leaving some of the spa blue areas showing though because I like it. And I'm just going over it a little bit lightly with the mixture of the color. And now I'm taking my black watercolor pencil, going around all my images. And then I will take my Liquitex Fluid Acrylic Medium and I will paint over all the black lines that I drew, which activates the watercolor pencil as well as seals it in so that later on if I was to do something on this page it wouldn't smear black all over the page. And it pops the colors and brings out images, and I really like it. You can use a Stabilo pencil for the same thing, and usually that's what I do, but my Stabilo pencil is at another table right now, so I just grabbed what I had closest to me. And Bailey's probably staring at me while I'm doing this because I remember she wanted to go out or eat or something, so she's probably staring at me, making me feel rushed. Oh, life with a beagle.
I wasn't going to bring any more colors in, but I changed my mind, so we're going to use Calico Calico Red by Americana. And I'm just going to put a little bit out on my mat. I don't know if you can see up there, but it's just a little tiny, tiny dot. I want to put some on my finger. And then I'm going to take my book here and I'm going to dab it off. Because I just want a little bit. And then I'm going to put some in this flower here.
I like the pop of red that it adds to the journal page. This isn't my favorite journal page. I did turn out to like it in the end, but it's not one of my favorites. I guess they all can't be favorite.
I'm wetting my brush and just getting the paint wet on my page because I put a little too much. And then wiping it up. Okay, I want a little bit in the background. I want to write in here, but I also want a little something there that I didn't write. So I'm going to take my stamp. It's got text on it. Any text stamp will do. And I'm going to use my Timber Brown Stays On. I don't want a dark stamp, so I'm going to take my stamp and the first thing I'm going to do is just use a portion of it and put it in my pad. And then I'm going to stamp off in my book over here, and then I'm going to bring it back over here to my page.
By stamping off the ink on my other book first, it keeps me from putting a real dark stamp image on my page, which I didn't want to do.
So now, Bailey, it's not time. She's doing the stare thing. It makes me speed up because she puts me under pressure. Okay, glutton for punishment again, but I was thinking of bringing in my red.
I was practicing what I preach, and I put long red streaks down the page. It was awful. I hated it, so I took it off. It looks good sometimes, but this time, no, didn't.
Okay, what I did, and I forgot to turn the camera back on, is I loved the red on there, but I didn't like the streak so stark on this page. Sometimes it looks very great, sometimes it doesn't. And I didn't love it on this page. So I just took my paintbrush and I put water on the paint streaks, real heavy water, and wiped it into the page. So it smeared the red in there more, and I like that much better. I have a tendency to not want to leave things mute. I want to brighten them up. I want to make them, I mean, look at the contrast there. I'm having a hard time leaving it like that. But I'm going to try. So let me go get my pen that I want to use and dry this. I'll be right back. Okay, I went to my box of Deco Color acrylic paint pens, and this one is gold. I'm going to use this and hope that I like it. I'm going to do a little test down the bottom and see if it's something I want to use. So let's get our book here and get it going. All right, let's try it. I may hate it. Looks awfully dark on there. I don't want it real dark.
I'm just going to write words in real large sketchy form.
Okay, I think that's all I'm going to write. And I did write words. You just can't read them because I scribbled them. I almost don't even complete the whole letter. I just sort of grab sections of the letter and put it out because I don't want it to be read. I don't know if I want to border the page or not. Might be kind of cool. Just a little bit here and there maybe. I decided that I want to fill in some of the space where the gold marker isn't with my white Sharpie pen. It's just a poster paint pen, and I'm just writing some things in here.
More sneaky writing.
Hang on, Bailey.
I remember now she headed downstairs without me.
She's going on without me. That's dangerous. Okay, so I have written in white. I don't know if you can see it, but it really changed it for me. So I'm going to let this sit a minute. I'm going to go down and take care of her, and when I come back it should be dry on its own, and we'll evaluate. Okay, I'm back from taking care of Bailey. She was down drinking. That's what she does when she wants to eat or go outside. She drinks. I don't understand it, but that's what she does. How do I feel about this page? I like the way it turned out. I used the elements that I put on the page, and this is the example for you to follow when you get your book, or if you make your book. If you throw something in here just to use it up from your stash, it's not something you really love. I didn't love these cards that much. I did when I bought them years ago. I mean, 20 years ago I bought these stupid things, but I don't love them now that much. But they're fine in the background. They're fine on a page with the flower put on top and a butterfly. I mean, like I told you in the last video, you add a flower or a butterfly to anything and it'll look pretty. Just add some color. So I'm very happy with the way it turned out, and I think for a junk journal it's just fine. So in review, my junk journal now has this page finished, unless I come back to it another time, these 2 pages, and these 2 pages. And I will continue to do stuff in my book periodically. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you see that it's fun to play in your book, that it's easy to take what you've got on your page and make something from it. If you wind up with a book that doesn't have flowers on your page, and it's just stickers or something, cover them up and add your own flowers, or add your own bird, or add your own whatever you want to add, a stamp over it, whatever you want to do. Anything goes. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you make your books, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.